This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Max and Mia podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here with us again today.
Before we start, we want to say a huge thank you to all of you for your amazing support.
Yes, we're so thrilled to read all your comments and messages. They truly make our day brighter. Your feedback helps us create better content for you.
We love seeing how our episodes help you with your English learning journey. Your enthusiasm motivates us so much.
Absolutely. Now, today we have a really interesting topic for you. We're going to talk about what did you do today?
That's right. We'll be exploring different ways to describe our daily activities using past tense verbs. It's such a common conversation topic, but there are so many different ways to express what happened during our day.
Throughout this episode, you'll hear several audio clips from different individuals sharing their daily experiences. These real-life examples will help you learn new vocabulary and verb forms.
It's a great opportunity to practice listening skills and pick up some useful expressions you can use in your own conversations.
So, let's begin. Our first audio comes from a mother who just arrived home after a busy day. She's going to tell us exactly how her day went and what activities filled her schedule.
Listen carefully to the past tense verbs she uses and notice how she describes her different activities. Ready? Here we go.
Hello, I'm Caitlyn, and I'd like to tell you a bit about my day today. Well, I woke up this morning at 6:30 a.m. when my alarm clock rang. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. My 3-year-old son, Tommy, climbed into our bed around 6:15 and started jumping on the mattress. So I guess he was my real alarm clock today. I got out of bed and went straight to the kitchen to prepare breakfast for the family. I made scrambled eggs, toast, and fresh orange juice. While I cooked, my husband David helped Tommy get dressed for daycare. Our older daughter Emma, who's 8, managed to dress herself, which was great because mornings can get really hectic. After breakfast, I drove Tommy to his daycare center. The traffic was terrible this morning. It took me almost 25 minutes instead of the usual 15. I listened to my favorite podcasts during the drive, which helped me stay calm despite the delay. When I returned home, I spent about an hour cleaning the house. I vacuumed the living room, loaded the dishwasher, and folded the laundry that I had washed yesterday. Emma helped me organize her toys before she left for school with David. Around 10 a.m., I started working from my home office. I'm a graphic designer, so I spent most of the morning working on a new logo design for a local restaurant. I had a video call with the client at 11:30, and they loved my initial concepts. That made me feel really accomplished. For lunch, I heated up some leftover soup from yesterday and ate it while checking my emails. I received several new project inquiries, which was exciting for my business. The afternoon flew by quickly. I continued working on various design projects until it was time to collect Tommy from daycare at 3 p.m. On our way home, we stopped at the grocery store because I needed ingredients for dinner. Tommy insisted on pushing the small shopping cart, and he was so proud of himself. When we got home, Tommy took his afternoon nap while I prepared snacks for Emma, who arrived from school around 4 p.m. She told me all about her day. They had a science experiment about plants, and she was absolutely thrilled about it. I spent the evening cooking dinner for the family. We had grilled chicken, roasted vegetables, and rice. During dinner, we all shared stories about our day. David talked about his meetings at work, Emma explained her school project, and Tommy showed us a drawing he made at daycare. After dinner, David and I took turns giving the kids their baths. Then we read bedtime stories. Emma chose a book about dragons, and Tommy wanted his favorite story about a little bear. By 8:30 p.m., both children were fast asleep. Finally, David and I relaxed on the couch and watched a movie together. We chose a romantic comedy that we both enjoyed. I felt grateful for such a wonderful, busy day with my family. Now I'm ready for a good night's sleep because tomorrow will bring new adventures. That was my day, full of small moments that made it special. Thanks for listening.
Wow, Caitlyn certainly had a busy day, didn't she?
She really did. I loved how she described everything from morning until night. Her day was so full of different activities.
And did you notice all those wonderful past tense verbs she used? Let me mention a few. She woke up, got out of bed, made breakfast, drove to daycare, spent time cleaning, worked on designs, collected Tommy, cooked dinner, and watched a movie with her husband.
Those are excellent examples. I also noticed some irregular verbs like took, had, chose, and felt. These are really useful for describing daily activities.
Absolutely. Now, let's hear from someone with a completely different type of day. Our next audio features a university student who just arrived home after classes.
Yes, students often have very different routines compared to working mothers, so this will give us a nice contrast. Let's see what her day was like.
Here's Sarah with her story. Listen for more past tense verbs and notice how her schedule differs from Caitlyn's.
Hi there, I'm Sarah, and I just got back from university. Let me share what happened during my day today. I started my morning at 7 a.m. when I heard my roommate's alarm going off in the next room. I actually prefer waking up early, so I jumped out of bed immediately and stretched for a few minutes. Then I brushed my teeth, showered, and put on my favorite jeans and sweater. For breakfast, I grabbed a banana and made some instant coffee. I don't usually eat much in the morning because I'm always rushing to catch the 8:15 bus to campus. Today, I almost missed it, but I ran the last 2 blocks and managed to hop on just before the doors closed. My first class began at 9 a.m., Advanced Psychology with Professor Martinez. We discussed different theories about memory and learning. I found the topic fascinating, so I participated actively in the discussion and even answered several of his challenging questions correctly. Between classes, I met my study group at the library. We reviewed our notes from yesterday's lecture and prepared for next week's exam. My friend Jake brought donuts for everyone, which was such a nice surprise. We studied together for about an hour and a half. At noon, I attended my literature seminar. Today, we analyzed poems by different contemporary authors. I particularly enjoyed one poem about city life. It reminded me of my hometown. Our professor assigned us an essay about symbolism, which is due next Friday. After class, I walked to the campus cafeteria and ordered a sandwich and salad for lunch. I sat with some classmates, and we chatted about our weekend plans. One girl mentioned a concert happening downtown, and we decided to buy tickets together. The afternoon brought my favorite subject, art history. We learned about Renaissance painters and looked at beautiful reproductions of famous masterpieces. I took detailed notes because I find this period absolutely captivating. Our professor showed us techniques that artists used centuries ago. Around 4 p.m., I visited the Career Counseling Office. I spoke with an advisor about internship opportunities for next semester. She gave me several brochures and websites to explore. This conversation helped me feel more confident about my future career path. Before heading home, I stopped by the bookstore and purchased the textbooks I need for next month's courses. They were quite expensive, but I found 2 used copies, which saved me some money. On the bus ride home, I called my parents and told them about my day. They were excited to hear about my classes and asked lots of questions about my professors and assignments. Now I'm home, and I plan to spend the evening reading for tomorrow's classes and working on that literature essay. University life keeps me busy, but I absolutely love learning new things every single day. Each subject brings different challenges and discoveries that make everything worthwhile.
What an interesting contrast. Sarah's day was completely different from Caitlyn's, wasn't it?
Absolutely. While Caitlyn focused on family and work responsibilities, Sarah's day revolved around academic activities and social interactions with classmates.
I noticed Sarah used many different verbs, too. She jumped out of bed, rushed to catch the bus, participated in discussions, and analyzed poems in her literature class.
Great observation. And there were some lovely action verbs like hopped on the bus, grabbed breakfast, chatted with friends, and purchased textbooks. These verbs really bring her story to life.
I also found it interesting how both women ended their days differently. Caitlyn relaxed and watched a movie with her husband, while Sarah called her family and now wants to study more.
That shows how our daily routines change depending on our life stage and responsibilities. A university student's evening looks very different from a working mother's evening.
Exactly. Now, let's hear from someone with yet another type of daily routine. Our third speaker works in an office downtown and had some unexpected events during his day.
Yes. Sometimes our days don't go exactly as we expected them to. Let's listen to Marcus and discover what surprises his day brought him.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marcus, and boy, did I have an eventful day today. Let me tell you all about it. I woke up at 6:45 a.m. as usual and followed my normal morning routine. I exercised for 30 minutes, took a hot shower, and dressed in my business suit. Everything seemed perfectly normal until I stepped outside my apartment building. It was pouring rain. The weather forecast hadn't predicted this. I completely forgot my umbrella upstairs, but I didn't want to be late for work, so I decided to brave the storm. Big mistake. By the time I reached the subway station, I was absolutely soaked from head to toe. The subway was incredibly crowded because of the weather. I squeezed myself into a packed train car and stood there dripping wet for the entire 20-minute journey downtown. Other passengers kept staring at me, and I felt quite embarrassed about my appearance. When I finally arrived at my office building, I discovered that the elevators were broken. Our office is on the 15th floor, so I had no choice but to climb 15 flights of stairs in my wet clothes. I was exhausted and breathing heavily by the time I reached my desk. My colleague Jennifer took one look at me and burst out laughing. She kindly offered me a spare shirt that she kept in her desk drawer for emergencies. I gratefully accepted it and changed in the bathroom. At least now I looked somewhat presentable for my morning meetings. Around 10:30 a.m., my boss announced an unexpected client visit. Apparently, our biggest client had decided to drop by without any advanced warning. Everyone panicked because we hadn't prepared a presentation. I volunteered to create one quickly, using the data from our recent project. I worked frantically for 2 hours, gathering information, designing slides, and rehearsing my speech. My teammates helped me collect the necessary documents and statistics. We managed to put together a decent presentation just minutes before the clients arrived. The meeting went surprisingly well. The clients were impressed with our quick thinking and thorough preparation. They even complimented our flexibility and professionalism. My boss was thrilled and thanked me privately afterward for saving the day. During lunch break, I ventured outside and noticed that the rain had finally stopped. The sun was shining brightly, and the streets had dried up completely. I bought a sandwich from a nearby deli and ate it in the small park across from our building. The fresh air felt wonderful after such a chaotic morning. The afternoon brought another surprise. Our computer system crashed around 2 p.m. and nobody could access their files or emails. The IT department struggled to fix the technical issues for hours. Instead of sitting around doing nothing, I organized team brainstorming sessions about future projects. We discussed innovative ideas, planned upcoming campaigns, and shared creative solutions to current challenges. These conversations turned out to be incredibly productive, and we generated several exciting concepts that we normally wouldn't have had time to explore. By 5:30 p.m., the computers were working again, but we had accomplished so much through old-fashioned face-to-face communication. Sometimes technology failures can lead to unexpected benefits. On my way home, I stopped at a bookstore and browsed through their business section. I purchased a book about leadership strategies that had caught my attention. The subway ride was much more comfortable this time. No crowds, no rain, and dry clothes. At home, I cooked a simple pasta dinner and reflected on the day's events. Despite all the unexpected challenges, everything had worked out beautifully. I learned that staying flexible and maintaining a positive attitude can turn potential disasters into opportunities for growth and success. Tomorrow, I'll definitely check the weather forecast more carefully and bring my umbrella.
Oh my! Marcus certainly had an adventurous day, didn't he? So many unexpected things happened to him.
Absolutely. From getting soaked in the rain to climbing 15 flights of stairs and then dealing with surprise clients and computer crashes. But I loved how he handled everything with such a positive attitude.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He could have felt frustrated or stressed, but instead he turned each challenge into an opportunity. When the computers crashed, he organized brainstorming sessions that became really useful.
Great observation. And notice how many different past tense verbs Marcus used throughout his story. He squeezed into the subway, volunteered to create the presentation, struggled with technical issues, and reflected on his experiences at the end of the day.
I also noticed some wonderful descriptive language. He burst out laughing, worked frantically, and ventured outside when the weather improved. These verbs really help us visualize exactly what happened.
Today we've heard 3 completely different types of days. Caitlyn's structured family routine, Sarah's academic schedule, and Marcus's day full of surprises. Yet all 3 speakers used past tense verbs naturally to tell their stories.
That's the beauty of storytelling. Whether you're describing a normal day or an extraordinary one, past tense verbs help us share our experiences with others. Each story becomes more engaging when we use varied and descriptive language.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode about describing our daily activities. We really hope you enjoyed listening to Caitlyn, Sarah, and Marcus share their different experiences.
It was wonderful exploring all those past tense verbs together. If you found this episode helpful for your English learning, we'd love it if you could subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up.
Your support means everything to us. And here's something special. You can find a complete PDF of today's episode in the description below.
That's right. The PDF includes not only the full transcript, but also all the verbs we heard today in all their different tenses, past, present, and future forms, so you can continue practicing at home.
It's a great resource for reviewing everything we covered and expanding your vocabulary even further.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. Keep practicing those past tense verbs, and we'll see you in our next episode.
Until next time, keep learning and keep improving your English.